Good morning, everyone. Trying to get this done today. I've had a lot of loopholes here. Um, Today I'm here to talk about a cluster C personality disorder, and this would be um, let me see here. Dependent personality disorders, cluster C. I have a cluster C personality disorder, which is avoidant personality disorder. It's probably the worst of the cluster C. It's pretty tough. It's really tough. With avoidant, it's hard to get on here and do this, really. Um, Most people with avoidant will say, I don't know how in the world you're doing it. But it's hard. Really is. You have to get up enough grit to do it. But I'm doing it because I want to help people that has personality disorders, mental health disorders. I want to emphasize I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a LPC. I'm just trying to help. Okay. But I do go by everything that the DSM-5 goes by. So the things that I'm telling you are true. Okay. So here we go. This is going to be criteria number one. Criteria number one is a persuasive and excessive need to be taken care of that leads to submissive and um, cleansing, cleansing behavior and fears of um, separation beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by five or more of the following criteria. So, five or more of the following criteria. Okay. This is where they need you there like 24/7 when they're awake. Like when you go shopping and stuff, correct? Um, you see kids and stuff that clings to their parents and stuff, or you're at a party and the kids felt like they're meeting strangers and stuff, and they just don't want to leave their parent and stuff. Well, this is what this is. With exceptions, this is an adult. So, I mean, these are adults, and they don't mean to be this way. This is not that they don't do this on purpose. It might seem that way, but they don't. Believe me, they don't do that on purpose. Okay, so now we're going to move on to criteria number two. They have difficulty in everyday decisions without an excessive amount of advice and reassurance from others. Meaning, when they're doing jobs and stuff, they have to make sure that you approve of their job when it's finished, or while you're watching over them, that you have to tell them what to do, and you approve of how they're doing it and stuff. Um, and that's criteria number two. Criteria number three is needs others to assume responsibility for most major areas of his or her life. Now, this could be an issue. This could be one of the issues of this disorder, because a lot of people, hey, they got a lot of responsive. I mean, they're most people now are not even willing to take on the responsibility of themselves much, really, much less someone else with a personality disorder. But this is what they need. They need excessive amount of advice from and reassurance from others, making sure they get the job done right. And they also need others to assume responsibility for most major areas of their life. And that can be hard for the person that does not have the disorder. So but you have to be patient with them. Okay, you have to really be patient with them. See, when they go to counseling and stuff, make sure you're with them. On most cases, at least. And that's criteria. Let's see. We went through criteria number 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do criteria number 4. They have difficulty expressing disagreement with others because of fear of loss of support or approval. Note it does not include realistic fears of retribution. This means that this could be a little bit borderline, but not really. There's a lot of difference. Borderline has fear of abandonment. Borderline has fear of abandonment for a real reason. And trust me, their fear of abandonment comes from where they can be very mean to you. And I mean destructive. Okay? But then when you've said that you've had enough, you're ready to leave, and you're gonna leave, that's when the fear of abandonment comes in with them, and they come at you with anything that they can. Not material wise, but they throw any word at you that they can. Like, if you leave me, you won't never see me again. I will end it for myself. And trust me, when they tell you that, they mean it. They do. Because my spouse has BPD. And I've experienced that with him before. Not suicide, but I've experienced the attempts with him. And I've seen him try it. Not because I'm leaving, but because of rejection, which borderline does not like. And this is very little comorbid with that trait of borderline. More comorbid with avoided on that. So that's criteria number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to move on to criteria number 5. Criteria number 5 is they have difficulties. I think I just did that one, didn't I? Oh, no. Having difficulties initiating projects, doing things on his or her own because of lack of self-confidence and judgment and abilities, rather than lack of motivation or energy, meaning they have the motivation and energy. They do, okay? It's not like they're not trying. They have the motivation and energy. They just don't have confidence. That's the real problem. They're not confident in getting projects done, especially if it's very hard projects, which is very hard, moderate projects, which is decently hard, and easy projects, which was hard enough for me when as an avoidant, because I have ADHD as well too. So, I mean, you know, it's a struggle for them. Okay, this criteria number 6, I believe we're going to be on now. Criteria number 6 is goes to excessive lengths to obtain nutrients, not necessarily food, but could be, and support from others to a point of volunteering to do things that are unpleasant, such as cooking. You feel like you've left them, you've taught them how to cook enough, and you've left them alone to try it, and they just don't feel like they can do it. They're unpleasant. They feel like that So, like if you cook macaroni and cheese or something, they fear that it may um, burn, even though they're trying their hardest, and they really are. Okay. But chances are it could get burnt. And most people say, "Oh, you did this on purpose." No, they did not. Okay. I'm not taking up for them. I'm just telling you the how the disorder is. And that may seem like that I'm doing this more for the people that don't have the disorder, that's looking after the person that does have the disorder, than I am the person that has the disorder. Not true. I am doing it for the person that has the disorder, and I'm teaching the people that don't have the disorder, that's looking after the person, to know how to manage it. Like I said, once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a LLC. I'm not a therapist. So I can just give you my advice and just read the DSM-5 statistical stuff online, the criteria. That's all I can do. Um, you would need to go with them to the therapist. And for those of you that suspect you have dependent personality disorder, you need to seek treatment and let your parents go with you, so that way they can learn the disorder. Some psychologists, or therapists, don't even know about the disorder, but it's there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on to criteria number 7. Feels uncomfortable or helpless when alone because of exaggerating fears of being unable to care for himself or herself. That means that you have been around them so long, and now they're trying to do it on themselves. It's very hard, and now they fear being by themselves. They're not going to be able to look after the yard, or not be able to cook for themselves. They'll probably still be able to bathe themselves, but cleaning and stuff like that will be a great challenge for them. Okay, so that's with that criteria of the disorder. Criteria number 8: urgently seeks another relationship as a source of care and support when a close relationship ends. Okay, this is true for most of the population. Okay, not as soon as one relationship ends, they go into another one for the normal population, but for these people, it could be that way. So, because they just don't want to be alone. And it's a struggle day in and day out for them to live on their own. Okay? That's criteria number 8. Criteria number 9, which is the last one, is unrealistically preoccupied with fears of being left to take care of himself, or herself. This is what I was talking about just then. They have intense fears of not being able to take care of themselves. Okay? So they need somebody there to help them with the chores of their house. Now, there are programs out there that do help with people with all mental disorders, except for personality disorders, except for a few that really don't want to do a lot with the top 2 cluster Bs. But and I'm not discriminating against the top 2 cluster Bs, and you know which ones you are. So what I'm saying is, people with dependent personality disorder qualify for workshop assistants. Like, there's a local workshop in the area that helps people, developmental people stuff. This is what you would call these kind of people. They're developmentally challenged, like myself. Um, they don't mean to be. It is by far not on purpose. Okay, so they have a job, and these workshops will teach them how to work, and then they'll teach them how to. They'll gradually take them out for a job hunting and stuff, and they'll wait until they find the job that they like, and then they'll get them on there. They usually have a little bit more power other than normal people do. I don't know why that is. Whether it's the manager feels sorry for the person because they have a mental health disorder, but I don't know, or whether just the other people just don't want to show up and they're looking for help. So that could be one reason. But the good thing is, I've been through job coaching. I know how they do it. They will job coach you, and they will help you learn how to do things at the job site. And they'll gradually wean away, but they won't go all the way away. They'll come by and check on you for, say, like once every 2 weeks or so, after being there with you for 2 weeks to a month. And they'll say, "You got this now. You're doing good. You got it." But the moment that they depart from you, and I know how that feels, you're like, "Uh-oh, what am I going to do now? I don't know. It was a great challenge for me, but I met it." This is why it's in the cluster C, because cluster C personality disorders very comorbid each other. So they'll have job coaches to come out there with you and help you, and they'll gradually retreat, and they'll come back and check on you every now and then throughout the whole job thing. And if you're there 20 years, they'll probably still come back and check on you every now and then. That's the good thing. So please remember, if you've been diagnosed with this disorder, it is not the end of the world. There's help, there's therapy, there's coaching that's out there, and you will eventually be successful. It's like any other personality disorder. It doesn't go away, but it can be controlled, and it can be treated, and it can get a little bit better. So don't hold your head down. Always remember that successful is the way out. Thank you for watching my video. For those of you that like my video, like my content, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. And as always, I will do my best to make new videos. Maybe some every other day, maybe some every day, one every day, maybe a couple every day. So you just never know with me. But I mean, it just depends on how I feel with my personality disorder at the time, whether I'm able to do it. But there's hope. That's the thing. And that's the key. Always remember that. And to those of you that's got dependent personality disorder, God bless you. Please remember, it's going to be okay. You will be okay. And you will succeed. Thank you. And hit the like and subscribe button. And I hope you like my content. You have a good day.